I believe I'm live. So, hello everyone. I'm Tom. Um, that's
And I'm
Asterisk.
Ashes.
Yeah.
Hi.
I'm gonna be doing Bomberman 64 any percent full power. It's like any percent, but you use full power. It's pretty fun. Should be a good run. So I'm gonna go ahead and count down from five.
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're off. So what Tom means by full power is that you have full power as it's implied. It's maximum strength on everything. So you have all the bombs, full firepower, remote, and also the red strength power up, all applied all the time. For the most part, the actual halving of the run compared to any percent doesn't really change that much. It's just instead of doing any detours for power ups like you would right at the start here, you instead just go straight to the switch. You would normally just move down a little bit and grab some power ups. Otherwise, everything's the same. You're doing the same lag reduction stuff, the same bomb jumps, and all that kind of stuff. Even for the most part, the mini bosses are the same, with the exception of Green 2. Their method, I guess, changes slightly due to a weird coding scenario regarding the AI's behavior and full power. Is it specifically full power, or is it just like the red power up?
I think it's just the radius of the bombs. So I think if you had a black bomb and it's near them, they'll behave that way. But because the red bombs just have such a bigger radius of explosion.
The threat radius, yeah. You'll see what we mean. He, like, instead of running around at really quick speeds like they normally do, he's like walking everywhere he goes. In terms of this run, the any percent category just requires us to beat the stage known as Black 4, which is the 5th world, the one in the middle, lower middle, I guess. So in order to reach the city, we need to beat the 4 surrounding stages, each named after their respective color. So green, red, white, and blue. And we start off in green.
I was trying to go up the back a little quicker, but
we'll
use the stairs like a normal person.
We start in green garden, and that was green 1. And each of those 4 stages, in fact, all of the full worlds are divided into 4 stages. The first and third are like adventure maps like this. The second one's always a mini boss fight, and the 4th one's always a boss fight. So the mini boss fights are usually like this, where you go up against another Bomberman of some description.
Humanoid men's.
Humanoid, yeah. So he's walking around a lot, which is not characteristic of the mini bosses. They're usually very, very quick, and they're like tossing bombs everywhere. They're trying to throw you off. It's actually quite disorientating. So in the any percent route, we would normally try to pick him up, like stun him, pick him up and throw him off the level, which is quite easy to do because he behaves in a certain way at the start of the level. But because we're doing full power, he doesn't behave the same way because of the threat issue that we were talking about before. So instead, we opt to just defeat him the normal way, because it's still faster because he's moving so slowly and our bomb radius is so huge. We don't have to worry about it. Also, our damage is ridiculous, so we just shred him basically. I guess with this particular stage in Green 3, I just realized that with the increased bomb radius, you'll have to be a bit more careful with your spacing. That's just unfortunate.
I think I was going to die if I tried that.
Stuff like that, where it's like the bomb radius is so large that it threatens you as well. But that's only really for these tight areas. Normally, because you also have remote bombs, you can detonate the bombs at whatever time you choose. So usually that's like as soon as it's in position or you're in position. Whereas prior to this, in an 80% run, you wouldn't have remote bombs at all for this.
Oh, there was an enemy there. And that can happen. So if there's something off screen, it can stop you. Not too much of an issue because I need to head out this way anyway. That just means I have to walk all the way over here, blow up the bomb, and then walk back again.
Oh, so it does save the crystal being grabbed at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I hope.
Yeah.
Not a normal spot to
find
die.
out. We'll find out. At this point, you would actually turn off to the left and get. It's remote bombs, is there?
Yeah, there's remote bombs in the box over there.
Yeah, there's a box to the far left that has remote bombs, and that's when you would get remote bombs and hopefully keep them for the duration of the run.
Just the level.
Just the level?
Yeah, you only.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It cleans it. That's right. I keep forgetting that. Yeah, which obviously helps out because the rest of this level is a lot of like putting bombs underneath platforms and raising yourself. Also, because his bombs are red and thus powered up, a small bomb functions as if a small red bomb functions with the same power of a pumped up regular bomb. And so that pillar would only break on a pumped up regular bomb. So instead, he just got to kick like a small one. You get to do silly stuff like that. Otherwise, yeah, this run is it's a very easy, like I would consider this to be a very easy beginner level speedrun to learn, where it's easy to complete and it has plenty of areas where you can improve and refine the run and go faster, and it's not too long either. A lot of your time would be learning the 1 or 2 skips of the game, and then the rest of it would be spent on learning the mini boss fights. Not the boss fights, the mini boss fights. So he just shredded the dragon's HP with that. Also, he's going to get a lot of the cards. The cards are like the game's method of 100%. 100% is 120 cards. So there's 5 cards to every stage. That includes the bosses and mini bosses, and they're centered around certain things. Time is always one of them in every stage. The boss fights are usually centered around some sort of damage mechanic or some sort of unique function. So the dragons like both their wings, the tail, and then bonking them on, like hitting them on the head with it. Is that like
it's
from the bomb on his head? Yeah, stuff like that. And then getting all the cards in all of the levels, and then finishing the quote last stage of the city unlocks the actual last level, Rainbow, which is where they kick the game up a notch, because they in order for you to have gotten it, you would have had to have performed some level of bomb jumps and various other tricks like that, to the point where when you beat the game the first time around, the game actually shows you some of them to be like, look, these are some things that you can do if you didn't realize, and then you're meant to go back and be like, oh right, let's kick it up a notch and try and get all those cards. The problem is that 120 cards is substantially harder, a lot longer as well, because you have to do most levels twice, pretty much, like all the adventure stages just about.
I think, yeah, so 100% you have to do a lot of them twice. I think 120 cards, which is on normal mode, you don't pick up their costume pieces. That one, there's been a lot of stuff sort of recently, recent in Bomberman history, where you can like do glitches and it's like 1.5 passes instead.
So as I was mentioning before with the first mini boss, that kind of strategy is like, that's the key to beating them quickly. Otherwise, the battle rapidly deteriorates out of your control, especially in any percent.
Yeah, very unpredictable if you don't manage to get the quick kills.
Yeah, and the quick kills are usually centered around you doing a specific action. Blue 2, no, not Blue 2, White 2 is the easiest one to handle because he does a very particular action that's very predictable. I think Red 2's the hardest one out of the lot, personally.
I think it's a hard one to learn, but when you know what's going on, probably not too bad. I think Artemis, who we just saw, probably one of the harder ones. Right, we're not doing that. We're going up this way.
He was trying to get where you basically clip into a piece of the geometry over there and get up to where he is right now. But the exit point is that block that he's about to jump up to, and you're meant to normally raise a whole lot of geometry and ladders so you can get up there normally. But stuff that. So yeah, that level doesn't have the arrow, but it's still active.
An interesting thing about that is there's some levels where if the exit isn't like the arrow's not there, end of level thing is not active, so you won't finish the level, and some of them will actually cause the game to freeze.
Ah. This is the blue 4, the boss, the fish. One of the cards for this guy is that he probably won't do it because he'll get shredded before he can get away with it. You hope. Yeah. But he swims way out in front. He jumps into the air and flicks 2 like air slices at you, like anime air slices. And when they collide with the raft, they obliterate whatever section of the raft you're not on, assuming you're not standing right where the air strike hits. And one of the cards is to beat the fight with just 1 plank of wood left, which is quite terrifying.
Especially when you get multiple cutters in a row. Well, that's a different thing, but yeah. It gets pretty hectic.
Just trying to think. Way back in Blue 1, he picked up Blue 3. He picked up a heart from a butterfly. That's going to be useful later. It's also just a good safety to have. So if he gets hit, he drops the heart instead of dying immediately. So that's a really good safety measure because even though he drops it, he can actually pick it back up again if it doesn't land in an awkward spot. Sometimes he can just fly off of you straight off the map, and then it's gone. There is another point where we can pick it up as well if we happen to lose it. But that's something that will keep on with us until we need it, which won't be for some time, hopefully. You might want to try that one again.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh. So yeah, a lot of these are pretty straightforward. It's just move to the end of the level, end the level. There's like entire sections of the map we're not even going to go anywhere near because you're either expected to travel there because you're not jumping off of ledges or doing weird bomb jumps, or it's just sections of the map where you can explore and get cards or costume pieces.
I think Red 3 is probably a prime example of that. There's just this big maze of train tracks that you're meant to follow along, and you skip most of that just by dropping off the edge at the start. Yeah, so Orion is another one of the ones where the RNG is a bit weird in full power mode. Still don't know what it is. He just does what he wants to, so...
Also, that attack can kill you.
Yeah, if you're standing on any of the diagonals when you kill him, he launches out these fireballs, and if you get hit by them, that is fight over for you. He wins the fight, so you're gonna go back and do it again.
Very rude. Yeah, him and the blue 2 fights are like the 2 hardest mini boss fights to deal with, and a lot of my practice when learning this route has gone into that. Still unable to reliably get it in a run.
Yeah, so this level, as you saw, I just walked along a little bit of the track, dropped off, and now I'm at the end of the level pretty much. You skip giant sections of this level. It's like, I think there's a whole extra, like 2 or 3 extra, like
sections of the map.
Yeah, subsections of the map. It's just so much skipped because of this.
Similarly with the pillars from from Green 3, his small bombs are super powered, which means they blow up those mine carts in like just on their own. Whereas normally you would need a fully charged bomb in order to get rid of them, and to pull out a bomb and then pump it up while running along the tracks and being chased by them isn't really viable. So you have to just step off the track and let them pass and then go back on the track in the any percent room. But in that one, you can just plant a bomb as they're approaching and they just get shredded by it. So only his body takes damage, yeah? Like towards his HP?
Yeah,
whereas
so if you
shoot his hands...
Yeah. They take damage, but it's only like damage to destroy them, which is extra gold cards.
And that's the red level completed, Red Mountain. So yeah, even though we're at full power, realistically the only things that would be slowing down are the boss fights because you would have to spend more time picking up and powering up bombs. But even then, you're still going pretty quick. So this wouldn't be too far ahead of the 80% run if you were doing well on the 80% run as well.
Yeah, it's sort of like small time saves here and there. It's nothing huge. I think the world record for 80% is like more than a minute quicker, but it's mostly because not as many people have run this.
Yeah. Again, with that series of bomb plants and jumps, he's managed to skip a large portion of the level. Also, yes, Wester, it is the legendary speedrunner formerly known as Thom.
But I love that guy.
Oh, I have to turn the camera on this map because I always fall off here. I can't do it. I'm so bad.
I think it was this bit here. I'd always die dropping down here. A little snowman jump. Saves a little bit of time.
The blessed snowman jump.
I got the good direction as well.
So a lot of the enemies, like, there's their roaming animations and then there's their attack, so to speak, and a lot of them you can just sort of bump into them and you'll bounce off of them kind of harmlessly. Whereas others will just, like, damage you on contact. So now we go on to possibly one of the easiest mini-boss fights. It's also my favorite. Just, I don't know, it's just fun.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like, you know...
Anime man. Yeah, so he does that, and that's very difficult for you to stuff up if you're standing right near the edge. You just sidestep him, stun him, grab him, and like, the thing about when you pick them up, they immediately attempt to struggle out of your grip, and when they succeed, they jump from your hands in whatever direction you're facing. And that's a key component because as long as if you like, you may not have enough time to do the throw animation because you can throw them further than they jump if you get the full leg throw. But if you can get enough time to just turn around and face a ledge and you're within that jump radius, they'll just leap from your hands straight off the level. And it's like, oh, okay, they did my work for me. That penguin was giving you business.
He didn't like me trying to go through there.
So yeah, these like those inverted camera segments, you can just like for the 80%, you don't have to memorize anything else. You just move forward.
Just hold up.
Yeah, just hold up.
Casually, they're probably some of the
needed.
worst bits of the game. It's like, oh no, what do we do? Everything's like impossible. But yeah, 80%, just walk.
We need some Bomberman hero speedruns.
Ooh.
What a game!
I know someone who would disagree with that.
Are they present?
They are not. They are not. Lively Raccoon is not with us. He is
unfortunate.
Probably sleeping, I would imagine.
Yes, because it's prime time Australia, because this is an Australian marathon. This is Oz Speedruns performing Fast 2020, or Flying Australian Speedrunning Team. We're raising money for the Royal Flying Doctors Service, which is a medical group that's centered around providing health care and emergency services for Australians in rural areas. They do fantastic work. Just about every Australian knows them, and they're quite famous. And so we've decided that we would raise money for them. They've gladly accepted, and so all of your donations today will go towards them and their cause. You can also put your donations towards incentives to to modify or add content to the marathon itself. The next marathon incentive that we have is to name the two Pokemon that are going to be used in the Pokemon Sword speedrun, the Sobble and the Kubfu. The Sobble already has $14.44 put towards the name being the letter I, and Kubfu actually has no donations put towards it. I do know that that's actually tomorrow, I believe in the morning. So you've got time to put money towards it. But yeah, you could get yourself a name of your choice in that game. So get those donations in. Help us raise money for a good cause. Now we've broken the barrier, we've entered the city. We gotta run along the highway. Don't ever do this at home, kids.
Especially not into traffic. That would just be silly.
Yeah, that would extra silly. It's worth noting that the cars move in a set pattern, so he doesn't have to read and predict what cars are going to come and when. He just knows that it's going to be the 2 car on the left and then a small 1 car on the right, and so on. So, what?
Just the typing.
Got him. Gotta let him know. Yeah, so you just have to get to the end of the area. The game would probably expect you to like navigate through these aerial bridges around the traffic. But yeah, okay. So here comes the first real proper glitch of the game, I guess. And I'll let him perform it and then explain it. Oh. That looks kind of weird, doesn't it? And the stage is now over. So, what he did was he took damage with a heart, so it didn't end the level. He survived the attack. He fell off a ledge, then spawned and picked up a bomb. And what it does is it causes the game to enter a state where Bomberman can no longer interact with thresholds like the end of the level, for example, but he can still place bombs and he can pick them up, but picking them up ends the state. And so what he did is he slid past a boss that's located at the end of that stage that requires you to defeat a cannon and 2 spawners, and it's a really lengthy fight and it takes a long time to deal with. So by skipping that, he saves a ton of time. There was an older way to do it where you would jump over the first threshold, then you would set up a chain of bombs that obviously had timers on them, and then you would do a standing bomb jump, I think it's called.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, standing bomb jump, and you would bounce along the chain of bombs you've set all the way across the entire trigger, and then straight onto the finish.
We did have remote bombs for that, though. It wouldn't be possible without remote bombs.
Oh, yeah. You missed so there was the Harvester, who is the mini boss for the Black City. He gets absolutely shredded by max power. He is otherwise quite a tricky boss to handle. So it's not a case of just using bomb jumping mechanics to skip sections of the map that it would otherwise want you to do. Nice little trick to kick the bomb off and detonate it off the ground so it doesn't block your passage while still getting rid of the block. Otherwise, you would normally have to kick the bomb and wait for it to detonate. Ooh. Yeah. I was like, ugh!
I think getting the purple guy early made the other guy spawn.
The gun on legs.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Be good. You're coming with me. Right, so he has a little bit of useless tech, where you use the purple guy as part of your bomb jump instead of a bomb.
And now he's doomed. Fate sealed. That's good. Yeah, as I was mentioning a while back, you a lot of the characters have an idle animation state and then an attack, and if they're not actually attacking you, you can bump into them and it doesn't hurt you. But in addition, if you stun them, you can pick them up, and that can be quite good for the more sturdy characters. If you don't have full power, you just huck them off the ledge. You don't need them. I'm pretty sure the cutscene prevents you from getting hurt, or can you still get hurt?
Yeah, I think this one, the cutscene stops you getting hurt. There are some cutscenes where I wouldn't risk that because I know I might die, but that one I know is safe to just run straight at the thing.
Yeah. And now we're moving into the final stage of the speedrun, where we just have to complete one boss fight. Yeah, so the any percent run ends here, whereas the 120 card run doesn't end here, because at this point in time you would have 100 cards and you need 20 more. Where would you get those 20 more? Well, from an entirely new stage situated at the end of this one. And it also has a whole bunch of like lore and story stuff that gets added in. Basically, you get told that you suck if you get to this point without 100 cards.
Wait, do you mean I suck?
The tutorial guy is a very mean person. So there was the mask and the humanoid. Killing the humanoid ends this phase, but while he was falling, the mask can turn around and try to shoot you, and its laser beam is a one-shot, and it can take you out. While you're just sitting there like, ha! My job here is you get knocked out. And now it's time for the hardest fight in the entire game.
Right. Time.
25:31.
Nice. It's actually like 15 seconds off my PB.
Nice. Claps for everyone. So for some reason, that fight, that humanoid, when he goes into second phase, when you stun him, he's stunned for a ridiculous amount of time.
It's crazy.
So you can just pick him up, like do like 2 360s, run over and be like, ah! Just huck him as far as you want, and he won't resist you.
It's interesting. Like, it's weird because all the other mini bosses, yeah, they like you pick them up and they're just like, I want to get out of your hands, please. But he's just
You
like,
have
yeah,
like half a second.
carry me, take me on a little picnic, you know, then you can throw me afterwards. Yeah,
He's nice like that. And that is
64.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I was saying, the any percent run, it's very easy to learn, very accessible, has good skill floor as well as skill ceiling, so good growth. Also, not too long of a run to deal with. Half an hour is not too hard.
Pretty chill. Fun game to play with friends, like race against friends.
Yeah. Thanks for running, Tom. That was great.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.